Greetings, Derek here with Denver Yoga Underground. Yoga has a prescription for just about any possible life experience, be it favorable or unfavorable. And over these past couple weeks, life has generously afforded me the opportunity to draw upon or reflect upon yoga's prescription or kind of guidance around navigating adversity. And I think this is really what got the whole yoga question off the ground, or practice off the ground initially. It wasn't born out of a garden vestibule where they were serving the most sumptuous chai and perfect music playing in the background and the scent of jasmine wafting through your nose, but rather in response to the inherent adversity that comes with being born, with the human condition, with our earthly existence. Samkhya approaches this and says, well, there's really kind of four Samkhya yoga system, four manners in which we suffer, why we suffer. And they start from the most external, these descriptions, like stochastic factors, like a storm or something that's like wildly out of our control that kind of comes at us, and that imbues us with a certain experience of suffering or loss, and gradually burrows more inwards towards our own, inner tendencies that sow the seeds for our own malaise in the human condition. And we're born into an uncertain world marked by the pairs of opposites. So this is a defining feature of just how life appears to be constructed, the kind of contract that we're born into. And examples of these pairs of opposites include like night and day, very simple and kind of benign, perhaps even a little removed. They define one another. Without one, you couldn't have the other. And then more personally and close to home, another example, pairs of opposites, gain and loss. I'm sure we can think of our own examples of that in life, the ups and downs. Or pleasure and pain, right? Two ends of the same existential stick. Not to mention birth and death. So life it's put forward that this is the defining feature of the world existence that we're born into. Nobody gets out of here alive. Which may sound kind of bleak, and that's not where the narrative stops. That's just a sober reckoning with the territory that we get to navigate in our embodied existence. Recently it was Shivaratri, and I got to reflect on my own relationship with the great god Shiva, who's ascribed as the lord of disillusion or entropy or even destruction. And to be honest, over these decades, I've had somewhat of a fearful and trepidatious relationship with such a potent force as the end. Like, who wants to hear that their ego is finite or that there's some loss, right? I mean, as humans, we tend to avoid that foremost. So Shivaratri came, and I had time to contemplate my own relationship with what Shiva embodies, and came to the realization that Shiva is, as a personified figure, is holding space for the inevitable loss that is to come. It just seems to be the nature of how life unfolds at times. Sometimes there's gain, sometimes there's loss. And what's more, affords us an inroad, a chance, a relationship to develop a conscious relationship with this force of transformation, this force of loss, this force of change that is woven into the fabric of life, a conscious relationship, so that we can extract wisdom through all life experiences, be they gain or be they loss, and Shiva is holding a particular space in that kind of lattice of life events, the ones we call loss, or destruction, dissolution, letting go. So on a relative scale, yoga can help us navigate the pairs of opposites, gain and loss, with more equanimity, with more of an even view, and as well as a loftier or higher vision towards what end? Where is this life path taking me? I know there will be ups and downs, and in what direction are we headed? Or give some greater context for our particular life circumstances and towards a greater ideal. And that ideal is sometimes characterized like moksha or liberation or freedom or abiding in pure consciousness. These are ways that we can kind of hold a bigger picture. And it doesn't get talked about so much in a yoga asana class. It's more about, stretch and alignment cues, which helps you wake up inside and just generally become more perceptive. But there's also this larger kind of backdrop or painting that we can consider as well. And what's more, yoga gives us preemptive means to navigate life experience. Patanjali says it this way. He says that the pain of the future can be avoided. And another interpretation I once heard of that same line is to be avoided. The pain of the future is to be avoided. There's things that we can do more proactively. And that's exactly what a regular yoga practice will do, is not only quell your immediate circumstances or harmonize your life events, but it'll also begin to sow seeds that over time will offset or dissipate any impending negativity or karma, something like this. Okay, so a few reflections on the greater path of yoga and where adversity fits in and the nature of the terrain we seem to have been born into. I wish you peace and success on your yoga path, my friends. Feel free to type in any questions. I'm happy to answer them personally, or perhaps that's the topic of another video. Thank you all, my liking, subscribing, sharing friends. Wish you peace once again. Om.